Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Startup Confessions with Jesse, and I have the beautiful Julie Lunsford with me today. And I must say I'm very excited to have her because it's been a while. We had a very good
hmm
communication. So, Julie, before I let Julie take up the stage, because I know Julie has a lot to tell us, but let me tell you a brief breakdown of who Julie is.
Okay.
Drum rolls.
Here we go.
Okay, so Julie Lunsford is the founder of Injoy Workforce Solutions, a company dedicated to helping organizations build cohesive, purpose driven teams. Wow, that's a lot. With a background in corporate HR, leadership, and working genius framework, Julie is passionate about connecting people with meaningful work that aligns with their strengths. And I think I've been part of that, right?
You
I've
have
actually
been part
experienced
of
that.
that. I know your strengths.
Exactly. Okay, her journey from corporate leadership to traveling the country with her family and eventually building her own business has shaped her mission to redefine work through the lens of joy.
That's right.
Wow. There's something I love most about what you do, and it's that part that has to do with joy, right? The part about, you know, doing a job that is actually, towards your strength. And I think
hmm
that's something I gained a lot from the working genius. But let me not take the stage, man. I have Julie here to tell us a lot about it. So, Julie, give us
Yep.
a brief breakdown of who you are, and then we take it off from there.
Well, my journey with joy started with a recent podcast guest that I just had on, John Glon, who introduced Working Genius to me. And
Oh,
we started
wow.
presenting Working Genius to the world. And along that way, I decided, okay, I have this recruiting background and
Okay.
I would really like to present this in the format of hiring people working in their joy. As I was kind of building that concept, I was also being influenced by that as well. I had to believe that working and living in my joy mattered before I could tell other people to hire based on that.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, this sign behind me with joy has created some days it creates a lightness. All right. Success equals joy today. And some days it's been a stressor of, I am really not feeling joy today, but I am telling
Mhm.
everyone else that they should operate in it. So it has both, what's the word I'm looking for? It has intrigued me, it has influenced me, it has prompted me to make this my focus.
Wow. And I would say I really love it so much because I've been a beneficiary. And I can't remember exactly where I fell after the test right now, but
I should have
I think I'm
looked
going
at
to check.
your answers
I'm
before.
going to check after this podcast to see where I fall. I think I fell under galvanizing,
Yeah, I
something like that.
know galvanizing. I know
Galvanizing and
specifically galvanizing was on
tenacity.
there, and
I
it
think,
might have
and I
been.
think
I don't know what the
tenacity,
other one
something
was.
like that.
Oh, it. Okay, I could see
I
that
think
actually
so.
now that I think about it. So someone who is finds joy in
Mm-hmm.
galvanizing and tenacity is a very go getter, and they bring everybody on board with them. And something that I learned recently, as I was talking, because on my podcast, I bring on a lot of working genius facilitators, people that go and
Okay.
present working genius to teams. And so they have been giving me an education as I have been interviewing them as well. And so galvanizing, one, I rarely, if ever, will hire a salesperson, which is what I was talking to you about, a sales role that has
Okay.
galvanizing as a frustration. I want it to be a genius, but I never want it to be a frustration. Tenacity, I realized recently with a podcast guest, is someone who is not really afraid of rejection. They have a high tolerance for rejection, as in they're not afraid
Okay.
of it. And
I mean,
so
I mean,
then
what's the
that
worst that can happen?
there you
Nothing.
go. So exactly. So the sales process involves not being afraid of that, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
galvanizing and tenacity especially are great fusing for a sales role. So, and you embody that. I'll say that for sure. And you love sales, right?
Yeah, I love sales. I've been doing sales for quite a long time in different ways, but I'm gonna be telling you that after the podcast. So tell me a
Okay.
bit about building leadership teams. And tell me, because when I read through your bio, you said a bit about building teams, leadership teams. Tell me about building leadership teams, and then some of the mistakes you made while you were doing so.
So hiring to me is building a team, right? There
Okay.
might be already a team in place, but
Okay.
you want to hire based on how someone is going to interact with that team. And just think about the team that you were involved with when I was asking you about your working genius. I wasn't just trying to
Yeah.
figure out if you could do the role. I was trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
where you fell in the team. And so with working genius,
Yeah.
there's something that you build called the team map. And whenever
Okay.
when a business is running their teams based on the working genius, then and
Okay.
the acronym for that is widget. So it's wonder,
Okay.
invention, discernment, galvanizing, enablement, and tenacity. So wherever you're missing something in that widget, I'm trying to fill it with the role that I'm hiring for at the same time so that work gets done and everybody's enjoying it.
Wow. And what mistakes have you noticed since you started doing that?
What mistakes?
Yes.
As far as where I'm
As far
missing
as
it or where
yeah,
the team is missing it?
exactly. Exactly. Where you're missing it because you are actually the one let me put it this way. You are actually the one at the back end, trying to get create a team, so there could be mistakes here and there. Has there been any before?
Well, I mean, I don't have an example of where I have put someone on a team where it
Mm-hmm. And
hasn't
it didn't work out.
hasn't worked out. I don't have that example yet, thankfully. Usually if a hire doesn't work out, when I'm placing them, it has something to do with a life event that none
Okay.
of us could have really gauged in the
Mm,
process. Now, sometimes
okay.
I can look at a job description and I can look at it and say, okay, we need to change this job description. If this is the genius that we think we need to go towards, then we need to change the job description to attract that person. And a lot of times when I'm working with someone and they're we realize, oh, that's not exactly the geniuses we do want to attract. So when I start changing the job description and put it in
Okay.
front of a hiring manager, and we realize, okay, this isn't
Okay.
actually the genius that we want to go towards. This isn't exactly what the job is. Because a lot of time, if there's a mistake made in hiring, it's usually
Mm-hmm.
not telling someone exactly what the job is, or them not even really understanding what the job is. Sometimes the
Yeah.
company thinks they need a certain role, but they actually need a different role. And words matter, right? So the words in the job description, the words that you're using to attract a candidate, all that matters.
So sometimes, um, in your own seat, you actually make the company really understand who they really need, right?
Yes. Yes. So yes. So and who like right now I'm hiring for a
Okay.
healthcare company and
Okay.
enablement, helping people, right? That is going to be
Okay.
something that someone's going to need to be passionate
Mm-hmm.
about. Someone may
Mm-hmm.
go to school for nursing, right? Just because they were told to.
Yeah.
And
No passion. No
they
passion
just
for
are
it at
like,
all.
yes, and you can pick that up right away. You can see that on a resume if someone's job hopping almost immediately. But when you're talking to someone about something that they enjoy, it's not really a lie detector test, but in the sense of if I tell you to tell me something that you're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to have a certain body language. You're going to have a certain way that you speak. So if
Mm.
you are not talking that same way about your profession and what you want to do for work or what you have done for work, then you're not that's not where joy is found. And for me, joy equals productivity. If you are working and living in your joy, then you are more productive. Even so, for me, I love being in your seat. I love podcasting. You will see me light up. Everybody in my home knows when I'm about to do a podcast because I'm excited and ready to go. And nothing about doing a podcast feels like work to me. Nothing.
Oh,
But there are people
wow.
that will hate this, right? There's people that should not be in this
Seriously,
role.
seriously. A lot of people hate talking. A lot of people hate looking at the camera. A lot of people just hate being at the spotlight. And I don't know. I don't know why they do that way, but I feel that the working genius should tell us why that happens.
Yeah. So, I mean, some people, and I use this person. I'm not going to say her name again, but I use this person as an example all the time because she really let me understand this concept. Some
Hmm.
people love working in spreadsheets, like they love Excel.
Okay.
And they will lose track of time just by putting in the formulas, and they are having
A
they're
good
having the
time.
best. Yes, I spreadsheets make me borderline cry.
Oh,
I I cannot. And so so truly we are all wired in a certain way. And even the
okay.
season of life can
Hmm.
determine how we're wired. There are people that are going to find joy and energy from serving food. There are people that are going to find joy and energy from answering phones. There are people that are going to find joy and energy in, landscaping and doing
Hmm.
manual work and getting their fingers in the dirt. And it may just be a season of life that they're in, but we're doing that person a disservice by saying you
Yeah,
should be doing this. This is where you should
that's
go.
right.
This is what you should do.
That's right. I can't agree more because I feel I've also been in that situation before, doing stuff you're not supposed to do because you're not actually inclined towards that. And then you begin to perform a job or maybe do perform responsibilities that it just looks like a burden to you. But when you're doing something that it's in alignment with who you really are, it just feels so natural and you just feel so
Mhm.
excited doing it every single time. Because anyone who knows me as a person, I like talking. Even though when I'm outside, you might not know I talk that much. But face to face, one on one, I can
Mhm.
keep you company for hours upon
Yeah.
hours upon hours. But I've also met a few people, including entrepreneurs, who feel uncomfortable on the camera. They feel uncomfortable discussing about their business. They feel uncomfortable even making normal human to human conversations. And I mean, sometimes I get confused. Like, why would someone be like this? But but
But we need
I
those
mean,
people too. We can't all be that person, right? Like we need the people
yeah.
behind the camera, right? We need
Hmm.
like the person that edits my podcast. I need him, right? I said we
Of
it
course.
all links together. That's why the work gets accomplished because everybody has a role and we want them in the role that they were meant to play.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me a bit about Enjoy Workflow uh, Solutions. Did I get that right? Enjoy Workflow Solutions
Workforce.
and
Yes.
Workforce. Sorry.
Yes.
Enjoy Workforce Solutions. And who are the people you're actually targeting the most?
Okay, so
What companies do you work with?
we're supposed we've heard this over and over, right? We're supposed to have a niche. We're supposed to have the industry that we're
Mm-hmm.
going towards.
We
I
know
will
that.
we know that.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
what is happening right now is I am by not following that. I am learning, but this is how I learn. I tend to learn things the hard ways, but those lessons stick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning what I do not want. I'm learning what no, I haven't landed on the ideal client in that direction. I'm really close to
Okay.
that, but I know what I don't want. And I do
Okay.
not want to be checking boxes for someone and saying, okay, this person has this license, this person if it is an industry or a company coming to me to just screen through skills and not find out if they find joy in it, If it's
Mhm.
not a company culture or value that someone find joy in their work, then that is not the client for me. The client for me is the person that joy is already part of the culture. That
Okay.
it's not necessarily an expectation that people work 80 hours a week, but
Mhm.
also realizing that some people may want that 50 or 60 hours, in the sense of they are going to put in their most and their best when they're in their joy and
Yeah,
working in that. They're getting
definitely.
their energy. It's the kind of joy and energy where you lose track of time, right? Like I went to a coffee shop uh a few weeks ago and needed to just take care of a few things, and I was planning to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours tops.
Okay.
I looked up and I had been there for 6 hours because I was doing all the things, and it was all work related, but it was all things that
Mhm.
I truly loved. And so if a company can get a grasp of that concept for their
Yeah.
employees and truly want to infuse joy into them, the productivity will just go on and on. So that is what matters to me culturally.
Mhm.
I and my heart is for small businesses and nonprofits because I
Yeah.
know what that feels like. I want to
Yeah.
make this accessible to them more so than the regular third party recruiters that are out there. So that it's someone who has either drank the Kool-Aid of joy, or
Mhm.
they're taking a little sip and they just need to be pushed over the edge. And my my interview format is very similar to this. I've recognized that when I'm podcasting, the same types of questions, I stay within, or the ordinances or the regulations that you need in human resources
Yeah.
world, but I make it much more conversational, to where we're just having a
Definitely.
conversation, and that's how I'm finding out about you. And now I'm realizing too, as I'm interacting with people, as I walk out into my community, I'm like, you know what you should do? You know what you should do with your life? I think I have an idea. And so people are getting this information from me whether they want to or not.
Mhm. You have too much to give. So much to give. So much. So tell us, I mean, I'm trying to imagine a company right now who, a company that never implemented working genius ever. They have a bunch of staff and they need you to come in and help them know whether this bunch of people are actually in the right positions. What are you gonna do in that situation?
So I am getting clients in one of two ways right now. So right now,
Okay.
so the Working Genius facilitators that are within my Working Genius community and coming on my podcast will already have companies that are working or have been introduced to Working Genius, and that's an
Okay.
ideal situation for me. Someone says, I we are using Working Genius, and where sometimes it breaks down is the fact that we're not hiring people based on Working
Mm-hmm.
Genius. If it flips around and someone comes to me just because they are tired of the administrative work of recruiting and they
Mm-hmm.
just want it off their plates, then I will introduce them to how I do the hiring. I'll introduce them to Working Genius, and I can either do a facilitation for them, or I have oodles of Working Genius facilitators that I can refer them
Yeah.
to as well. But Working Genius language, and anybody that knows me, just within my circle, just kind of comes
Mm-hmm.
out of me uh, whenever I'm talking. And so it's going to come out in the recruiting conversation. And then
Okay.
one way or another, the Working Genius information will get to them, and they will understand the flow of work from wonder down to tenacity, and understand where people need to fall in line. And it helps with communication too. Like, as far as me knowing that you have galvanizing and tenacity. Well, my geniuses are wonder and discernment. One that helps
Okay.
with interviewing overall. But if you and I are
Yeah.
working together, I'm going to start asking questions about why things aren't working. What could we possibly do? And I'm going to stay up here. I'm going to be up in the clouds. You're not necessarily going to
Mhm.
be in the clouds with me, but then I'm going to say, if when invention comes up with an idea, I go in and can see kind of towards the end result of whether we how we should be doing this, or what is the best way, or is that a really a good idea if we see it all the way through. And then you, with galvanizing and tenacity, will you will be the cheerleader of, this is why we're doing this, this is what we're going to do, let's go. And then people with tenacity tend to be the ones that cannot sleep at night when they have not gotten everything that they needed to do done. So they tend to be the ones that get the land the plane, so to speak. They make sure that whatever started up here ends and it's rocking and rolling, with the every detail, every I
Yeah.
dotted and every T crossed. So it helps with that as well, because if you give me something to do and
Okay.
and you expect me to get it across the finish line, you're going to be very disappointed. I'm going to be the one saying, "Can we move this one more day? Can you give me a little bit more time on
I
that?"
mean, I'm somebody that, if I have something to do, I'm not gonna rest until I have it done. And at some point during the early part of my career, I freelanced on Fiverr. So there were timings, I had
Oh,
deadlines to
yeah.
meet. So I got very comfortable meeting deadlines that I could live my normal life, still meeting my deadlines at the perfect time. So I spent about 5 years doing the exact same thing. So that that actually reshaped the way I think. I know how to hit deadlines and I make sure things are done at the right time. And I don't know if it's a natural or maybe I improved over time. I don't know, but it is what it is.
No, you definitely, I yes. Yes, exactly. When you are on contract like that and and there's a project and you have a
Yeah.
deadline, that I mean, that's the way you're getting your reviews. That's the way
Mm-hmm.
you are building your business. And so it
Mm-hmm.
definitely, and not to say it, if that's even, I mean, I've worked in my frustrations, I've worked in my competencies before. And even if that's not something that comes natural to you, you
Mm-hmm.
can do it, especially if it's, your reviews are relying on it,
Yeah.
but it will drain the person that doesn't naturally have that in them. Like they are going
It
to
will
be
drain them
stealing the
out.
work.
It
Yes.
will drain them out.
Yes, it is not.
Honestly. So one thing I want you to explain to us right now is, what's the biggest mistake that founders are making? I mean, what I've had from you right now. Can you
One
just
of
give
the
us a brief
biggest
breakdown of
mistakes that
what?
founders are making.
Yeah.
Uh I am not going to speak on behalf of founders themselves. I'll speak on my own personal
Yeah. I mean,
experience.
from what you've noticed.
Yes. So I am, what I would call, I have been baptized by fire, by the way that I decided to start my journey into this. Most people should, they should do this. So I'm not advocating anything that I've done. But I also believe that
Okay.
if you're walking into your calling and it's the timing, just some
Okay.
things are going to be worth it, even in the difficulty. So I should have had more of a savings ready, right? Like when I'm in my W-2
Okay.
job, and
Yeah.
I never thought I would take this leap. Never, never, never. I did not. I knew it was an idea, it was a dream, but
Mm-hmm.
when you get around a bunch of other dreamers who actually do the thing, and then you find yourself doing the thing. And so I wish I had more, that I had more planning involved, but I didn't. And everybody has survived. Like we still have a roof over
Mm-hmm.
our heads and able to
Thank God.
eat. But last
Thank
year
God.
was a very, very quiet year. And I wish I had paid attention to the silence a little bit more instead, and the slowness, and used it to build myself up and kind of use the time for ideation and ideas. But it freaked me out so much that I had made this decision and had no real steady income coming
Yeah.
in at the time. And it just took it made me feel crazy. And I was just stressed all the time.
Yeah.
And finally, I just surrendered that. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be in the silence. I'm going to be in the slowness, in the stillness. As soon as I just surrendered to that, things started coming in. And now I'm working in my joy, but I am stressed in a different way, in an abundance way. And I realized that time of silence and slowness
Yeah.
was preparing me for this time. I need my central nervous system regulated, and I need peace
Yeah.
regardless of what is happening. If it's slow and still, I need to embrace that. If it's busy and hectic, I need to
Mhm.
embrace that, and I need to stay the same on the inside and tackle it in a way that I making an impact rather than it impacting me in a negative way.
Yeah. Tell me something about the journey, the entrepreneurship journey that people don't really talk about, but you've experienced it.
Um, that people don't really think about.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we are looking at the story once the triumph has happened. I think people come out of the woodwork when they
Yeah.
are really experiencing what their version of success, and it
Yeah.
looks like an overnight success. And
Exactly.
it it's
Exactly.
it's just
No
that
one
no,
tells you the journey. No one tells you it's
yes,
difficult. No one tells you
no,
that it's frustrating.
and nobody is posting, I lost
Hmm.
$5,000 today on a bad deal. Right? Like,
Yeah.
they
No
may
one
tell you
tells you
about
that.
it later when they made $10,000, but
Hmm.
they aren't going to be talking about it in the moment. And
Yeah.
I hope to do more of that, because I have another I'm doing so the side hustles that kept me going last year are
Okay.
now causing they're a distraction, and they're not letting me focus on my business. And that's part of the reason I'm so busy, is because I'm in all these
That
different
means
directions.
they grew. The side hustles began to grow. And that's
Well,
why they're
yes, but they're
distracting.
not in line with my business
Yeah.
anymore. So I have to let them go. And
Oh,
I actually am in an accountability group, and my goal
okay.
is it sounds very counterproductive, but my goal is to let go of 2 clients by the end of this quarter, which is basically 3 weeks away.
Oh,
And that is right around the corner, and I have to go back to the lesson that I learned last year, that it will be okay. I was provided for then, I'll be provided for now. And I very much believe, and I know that if I open up space for the right clients and the right
yeah.
work, because right now there's no space. There's minimal time for me to even work on my business to bring on the clients that actually
New client.
align with
Yeah.
what I want, what I'm doing. So that day is right around the corner, and it will probably feel like jumping off a cliff, and it
Hmm.
probably won't be super successful the first couple of months. I probably will feel that income that left,
Yeah.
and it'll be okay.
It always, it's always gonna be okay in the end, right?
Mhm.
The story has to end well most times. It just has to end well.
If you're doing the right things. Now, if you are self-sabotaging or, doing things that are counterproductive or being distracted, yeah, that you're going to have negative consequences from that. But I truly
Yeah,
believe
definitely.
if you're in your calling, if you're going towards what your purpose is on this earth, then there's going to be peaks and valleys, but yes,
Yeah.
it'll be okay. And my number one goal, and I was just giving my children this speech earlier. I am in my 40s. I want them to know these things way before I learned them. I want
Yeah.
them to be realizing their dreams and building a structure to accommodate that
Mm-hmm.
before they're 40. I don't need them to do that now, but I want them to go ahead of me in a way that they knew these things when they were launched into the world.
Yeah. I mean, I can't agree more with what you just said because the earlier you teach them about that, the earlier they align themselves, and then it makes it a lot easier for them, before they get to 40s.
Yes.
That,
They
that
don't
is
have to
it.
learn everything the hard way like I've had to
Of
do.
course. Learning from your experience is the best way to learn. Not making the mistakes first. Right?
Yes.
So, um, we're almost running out of time, but I really wanted to continue this conversation. But let's put it this way. Let's say you are going to go back again. What changes will you make before you start on this journey? Assuming you
Oh,
had the
what
chance to
changes?
go back.
If I had Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Start off from
know
the beginning again.
I know everything worked to get me here,
Here.
but
Yes.
I would have done a little bit more work. So a question that used to destroy me, for several years
Okay.
was, what do you want? And I
That
hated
question is so difficult.
that question. I
So
wish I
difficult.
had Yes, I wish I had leaned into that sooner. So right now I'm doing a dream manager program, and I had to list 100 dreams that I want to accomplish in this
Okay.
lifetime.
Okay.
And I know that now is the right time for this, but I do wish I had been digging into that a few years earlier. And so now that's something I actually have my children working on, is a dream
Okay.
list. And
Okay.
I have one child in particular that it is it is very difficult for her because she wants to get it right. And I wish I had been done more risk taking and not worried about getting it right earlier on. That is what I would have preferred to do. And every single step that got me here was the step that got me here. So I cannot be upset about any of it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So as we conclude, just why should a company why should a company get you to help them? Why do they need work engineers?
They need Working Genius, and specifically Enjoy Workforce Solutions, so that their company can be the most productive it has ever been
The
and
most productive.
joyful. You get both at the same time. So, ascertaining someone's joy by interviewing them,
Mm-hmm.
and also the current
Mm-hmm.
employees, is going to do nothing but spike productivity, teamwork, engagement, retention. It
Yeah.
all flows from joy. And
Yeah.
that's something that I truly believe in, and I am ready to pass it on.
And that's what every entrepreneur wants. That's what every founder needs in his company. A bunch of people that are happy to do what they are doing. And of course, like you said, when there's joy, productivity increases, excuses also reduce. And the workforce is just keep engaging, they keep producing, and and of course there's more profit for you, as a founder. When the
And
productivity is
that's
higher,
why, yes,
more
you're the
profit.
salesperson. That's why Jesse is the salesperson. As you can see it and you can
More
explain
profits
it
for you.
perfectly. I should hire you.
Of course. You should. You should. That's something you should do. Julie, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really had a
Thank
very
you.
wonderful time. And personally, I would have loved to continue this conversation, but time is almost running out on us. 35 minutes gone. And I want to say thank you so much. But before we go, we want to know, where can we find you? Are you on social media?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And then Julie at N with an
Okay. Okay.
INJOYWFS.com.
Okay. On Instagram, on LinkedIn, and where again? On Facebook?
Facebook. I am not on TikTok yet. I haven't been drawn
You
over to
should.
that side of I know.
You should. You
I
should
know.
come on TikTok. You
I
should.
should.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you making our time for us, and we really learned a lot from you. Until next time, guys, keep working hard, keep being a better version of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. See you on the next one. Bye.